Our sponsors this month are Shropshire Drone Services. If you're looking for aerial video or photography in Shropshire, then they can help you. Go to shropshiredroneservices.co.uk or speak to Matt at 07800 689 209. Whether you're looking for crisp video or perfect photography from anywhere in Shropshire, they can help you. They come highly recommended from the Shrewsbury Biscuit. We asked them for some help with our website, and they delivered crisp, perfect footage of our town in Shrewsbury. That's shropshiredroneservices.co.uk. You will not be disappointed, folks. Hi guys, and welcome to this great episode of the Shrewsbury Biscuit podcast. I really enjoyed this one. It features Mary, who was a fantastic guest, and Verity joins us for this one too. And we had a great time. I want to say though, before we get into this, that we are rebuilding our website. Well, I say I mean the great team at Web Orchard. The website needs to be made look slick and cool. And they're working at the moment to rebrand the show and to offer some great visuals as part of the website. Stay connected to the show to know, to learn everything about that, because things are going to change. I'm going to start writing some blogs that accompany some of the episodes. It's going to be pretty cool how it all works together. I want to say thank you to Matt from Shropshire Drone Services. I wanted some cool drone footage of the town, because ultimately this is a community podcast and Shrewsbury's our town. And he went out and got some amazing drone footage for me. So thank you, Matt, for that. And I would highly recommend Shropshire Drone Services. I know we've got an advert running for them at the moment to say thank you. But from the bottom of my heart, what you did for us was wonderful. Anyway, without further ado, I'll lead us into this episode. Hope you enjoy it, and I'll catch you guys at the other end. Take it away. Hi guys, and welcome to the Shrewsbury Biscuit podcast. I'm Alex Whiteley, and with me today back is Verity. All right?
Hi, yeah, I'm all right. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I've been speaking to we've had lots of like guest co-hosts and stuff, so it's nice to have you back.
Oh well, I'm thrilled to be back.
We had Katie Rink when we were at the Ark, and we had Rich Carter from Australia.
Australia, how was it?
He was all right. It's really it's really funny because like it's just Rich. Like for us, it's just Rich. But when I turned the microphone on, he was like, oh, "Yeah, hi, how's it going?"
These microphones do weird things to people.
They do. They kind of bring me out of my shell, and they put a lot of people back into theirs. It's really weird. Today we're joined by. It's really funny. Got a great story. This is Mary Perry. Thank you so much for joining us on the show. A couple of weeks ago, I was walking to House Coffee, and Mary was sat with Anna Williams from Pod 8. She pointed at me, Anna did. She goes, "I've literally just said your name." I was like, "You're lying."
It's literally like that. I was like, "What's going on?" Thought she'd seen a nice cake in the window. I wasn't sure what was going on.
Oh, that would have been a disappointment. Cake? Oh, it's just Alex. Just Alex in House Coffee.
No.
And we met at Abbey Fest.
Yes, yeah.
As well.
Yeah.
Were you at the award ceremony as well? At Lingen Davies?
I was. Gosh, that was a while ago. Yeah, but I was there. It's the first one I've been to. But yeah, I did that and then volunteered at Abbey Fest in the VIP area. So.
Oh, I did that. Did you do it on the Friday?
I did,
I was there on the Saturday.
It was very fancy.
I know.
Yeah.
How fun. It reminded me how much I love hospitality.
I know. All of those days of waitressing when I was like 16 all just came back to me.
Off.
I was like, I know how to do this.
I know what I'm doing.
Yeah,
with me.
Exactly. I was like, I've got an
These
apron.
VIPs. Oh, well looked after.
I see. I've been to Abbey Fest for the last 2 years, but I've never been able to sort of relax. It's weird because I'm like that with my microphone, very much like I was with you. I was like, "Hi, I'm Alex from the Shrewsbury Biscuit," and then I do my interviews, and then I'm usually like really tired, so I go to bed. So I'd like to come and be like, "Right, you're going to be the biscuit bar guy in my stead."
Yeah,
I'm going for a beer.
Enjoy the experience.
It's good. I enjoyed it. I did the VIPing. looking aftering.
Yeah.
I think those are all real words. And then had a bit of food afterwards. It's a nice event, isn't it?
It is, and it's so unique. Like, it's so random, isn't it? Just being in
I
there.
think the novelty of having a drink in church really goes to people's head.
I think so. I agree.
Well,
for it.
last year's Abbey Fest, we had the cutest exchange. Honestly, it was so sweet on the biscuit. It was my first year, and I went with my colleague Kevin, and we'd been at the Armoury for a work day. And I was like, they were all like points, and I was like, no, I got Abbey Fest afterwards. I showed him my microphone, got to do my thing, and Kevin was like, I'm gonna have to come with you because he's local. And he's like, I don't believe that they're drinking beer in the Abbey. And I was like, no, yeah, we are. So we went to Abbey Fest, and he's like, I can't believe this. I used to come here when I was at school. He was really strict, and now I'm sitting here having a beer.
It's bizarre.
It's just so nice.
But like you said, I think it's the novelty, isn't it? It's very different. It's very, very unique.
And I've been doing a bit of research on you today.
Oh,
Stalking you on Facebook more than anything. And Anna as well was like, just look on our website, which I did. And when it comes to treatment, breast cancer, I mean, like, what's your story with that? I mean, how quickly did it happen? How did you get through? I mean, like,
yeah, it feels like all a bad dream, really. But yeah, it was sort of 2020, the big old year of the vid. I found a lump beginning of 2020, and I was just, never thought of anything being wrong. So I didn't want to go to the doctor, didn't think it was anything bad. And it was actually my other half that was like, you need to go. Because he's had experience of cancer. I've never.
What a guy.
Yeah, no, he was very good. So I went to the GP, and it was like, they greeted me in a hazmat suit, and I was like, "What's going on?"
Oh
here?
wow!
Oh yeah,
yeah. That was
somebody put a picture of a picture of people queuing on Asda car park in the 2020, and how ridiculous we looked.
I know. You think of the things now, and you're like, "Did we really do that?" Like, it was so bizarre. But
hazmat suit.
Honestly, it was. So they're doing a breast examination. She just literally looks like she's landed off the moon, and I was like, "This is the most bizarre situation." But yeah, I got referred to the breast clinic, and it was literally all end of March, so it was right when it was all happening in lockdown, and then I got diagnosed officially in May. So yeah, it wasn't too long between everything happening, but yeah, once I'd gone for my ultrasound at the breast clinic, I kind of pretty much knew. It was quite apparent from the lady. Yeah, I mean, I know they can't say anything, but you're kind of like, I can tell.
I'm getting the
vibe. Yeah, exactly. Like I went in and she literally did the ultrasound, and then straight away wanted to do a biopsy, and that was not the plan. And then you're like,
I'm speaking to two cancer survivors now. They've both been for their own separate stories, but like they always play it off as like cliche in the movies, like, are you sitting down, the other phone call, the awkward phone call, or they do the awkward exchange in it, just tell me straight, doc.
Yeah, like. It is. It's a little bit like that, because I think now when you look back, obviously, like, I'm sure you agree, everything now, I listen to the way people say things and the way that the mood is in the room, and you're trying to read it all like, what does this mean? Because, you've been there when it's been like that. But yeah, I sort of, got diagnosed. I was HER2 positive, which is more aggressive, but it had been found quite early. So it was only 1.6 centimetres in size, which was quite good, quite small. But obviously it was aggressive. So they basically, what they told me was they were going to throw the kitchen sink at me. So they gave me everything. So chemo, radio, surgery, tamoxifen, Herceptin injections. So yeah, sort of really, had a good shopping list of stuff to get.
So you were at your most vulnerable during one of the most crazy times in our lives.
Oh, it's really weird because obviously I wasn't allowed to have anyone with me for anything. And that was really sad. And I do agree, it was very, very sad. But I suppose I didn't know what it was like to have someone with me. So I didn't miss that. What I felt bad was for people maybe halfway through treatment who could have had someone with them for chemo, and then that was taken away from them. That was probably quite difficult. Whereas for me, I didn't really know what it was like to have anyone there. So obviously it would have been nice. But I mean, I think it was more the appointments when, they were telling me stuff that was, obviously like my diagnosis, that was told to me on my own, and like things like that. And you only ever take in so much. And I think if I could have had like my other half with me, he would have been able to.
Could he not come to any?
No. So, well, it was the vibe. I was in the waiting room, and I at this point hadn't been told, and they said, "Oh, are you on your own?" And I said, "Well, yeah, because it says on the letter I'm not allowed to bring anyone with me." And they're like, "Oh, well, is there someone in the car park?" I was like, "Yeah, my other half." And, "Well, he can come in." And I was thinking, at that point, I was like, "Just tell me. I just want to know what's going on."
Yeah.
So yeah, I just went in, and I just thought, I wish that he could have obviously been there, really, because he would have listened to more. He's very much more like glass half full, whereas I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is going to be the most awful thing ever, and obviously it is, but he very much saw okay, so it's small and it's early, and whereas I'm looking at it's aggressive and it's so it's hard. It's
the only way I look at it, because I've never had been through the cancer experience. It was when I broke my ankle a few years, not my ligaments that I tore, my actual break. They were like, "There's a fracture, but it's very small." And I was like, "Fracture?"
Yeah.
All I heard was fracture. Like, not,
me.
It's very small. It's fine. It'll heal within a couple of weeks. I heard fracture.
Yeah. I've decided I'm a catastrophizer. I'm like, yeah, everything's like, oh my gosh.
So that wouldn't have been a good time in the world to be a catastrophizer.
No, exactly. With the COVID thing, it was the worst. So the worst thing was for me was I'm super close with my family, and my mum and dad live in Wales, and we also live in England. So every time the rules were in our favour in England, they were not in our favour in Wales. Yeah. So I could never. They were never matched. Basically.
Going through treatment, you're immunocompromised as well. So
yes, that was tough.
You had to be even more, I'm presuming.
Yeah, they originally said, especially to my other half, because he works in sort of agriculture, and they were like, "You're going to have to stop working." And he was like, I can't stop working, that's not a possibility. Because I'd recently gone self-employed, so I'd only been self-employed 6 months. And so there was no support for me as a business. So I was like, we can't both not be working, that's not really going to work.
It was a brutal time for a lot of young businesses then.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I ended up just taking on a job on a local sort of farm, and I just was like, I'll just take on any work. And then that was when the diagnosis happened, and I realised I couldn't obviously work there because it was quite immunocompromised and everything. But Dave carried on working. His work were really, really good about it. But, we just had to do the thing, like when he got home, clothes straight in the washing machine. Yeah, it was. And again,
Spray
it was
with Dettol.
Yeah, and like
Get here.
Honestly, I was just like, where have you been? Like, where have you been today? But it was just, like he did a lot of meetings and obviously going to farms and stuff like that. So it was quite difficult, and farmers aren't the best sometimes at understanding.
But that was quite
personal.
Scary.
It was, yeah.
I found COVID scary because I was diagnosed at a very similar time to you, right at the beginning of it all in 2020. But I was in a position, I don't actually know how now, because it makes no sense, but my partner did stop working, and so did I. But he's self-employed, so on the 2 weeks when I was bad with the chemo, he'd be off work.
Got you,
and then he'd go for that third week just to get a little bit of money in.
Yeah, because that's the thing as well, isn't it? You don't know in the beginning how you're going to react.
Exactly.
So you're just like, I could either be bedbound and totally ill, or I could handle this really well. And so that was the scary bit. I mean, I was scared financially. I was obviously scared for that side of it, but obviously also scared because I didn't know how I was going to react to treatment.
And how did you react to treatment?
It was, well, I always sort of say a massive part which people forget about is because of my age, I was offered fertility treatment. So I had all my, had the egg collections, and we made embryos and stuff, and that was before I had the chemo and all that, and that was actually quite a really intense process as well, and it was very overwhelming.
I don't think that's like IVF, isn't it? The beginning part of it. So they are like,
it was so
your hormones
intense.
Are going wild.
And that was the thing, they're injecting you with hormones, and my cancer was hormone positive, and so that's playing on my mind. I'm like, I don't know if I want.
So after you got your diagnosis, that's when you saved your eggs and
pretty much. As soon as they took the tumour out, as soon as I had surgery, they tested it to see what sort of type of cancer it was. And as soon as they knew what it was, and as soon as I was told this is what it is, literally that afternoon I had to go to the fertility unit and start the injections and start all that. So much paperwork because of the legalities that are involved in it, because we weren't married at the time, so it was ownership over, honestly. And so it was just like, is this actually happening? You know, I've just literally been told I'm going to have chemo and all this sort of stuff, because at that point I wasn't sure if I was going to have just radio.
So you had surgery first?
I had lumpectomy first, which was very rare at that time because of COVID. A lot of people I had spoken to had theirs delayed and had treatment, like chemo first and then surgery. So I was quite lucky. And I had that in the private hospital in Shrewsbury, in Nuffield.
Same.
Yeah,
I feel like we could have
literally
been there high-fiving each other.
We probably could have literally been down the corridor, couldn't we? Like, it was just, again, that was bizarre because it was so quiet and it was just like...
Do you know what? But I
weird.
don't know if people said the same to you, but they were like, oh, you're going to love the Nuffield. It's like a hotel. It's like they'll wheel you in some food. Honestly, I was so sick because I don't respond well to anaesthetic. I've had several operations since, and they've sort of nailed the combination for me. So I'm like, whatever they did in the last operation, can you do that one again? But when I was in the Nuffield, I was being picked up at 8. I was vomiting at 7:30.
No.
I was so sick, and everyone was like, "Did you love the Nuffield?" I was like, "No,
I didn't really get a chance."
No, I didn't.
So dosed up, don't even know where you are.
Yeah.
I had the consultant coming in to talk to me, and I was like, I don't even know what he's saying. I'm so out of it.
Oh my God. So did you have mastectomy or lumpectomy?
I wasn't offered a lumpectomy.
Okay,
It was because
straight.
mine wasn't HER2 positive, but it was really fast growing. So
Okay.
when it was first measured, it was under 2 centimetres. By the time they took it out, a couple of months later, it was 7 centimetres.
No. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh,
so mine was a real quick grower.
Yeah.
So I just had a flat out mastectomy.
Yeah.
But I did ask them at the time, can I have just take them both? They've seen better days.
Yeah.
Let's get them gone.
Get 'em off.
They've seen their best days, rather.
Yeah.
But they wouldn't, because COVID, they were like life-saving operations only.
Yeah.
So
I always get confused because there's actually a group of girls that have gone, who all had treatment at Lingen Davies. We all had chemo at the same time, and we all kind of met through Instagram. Some of them are from Telford, Shrewsbury, whatever, and we go out for dinner every so often, and we've all had different experiences, and that's like what I find really like bizarre, like, because they're like, oh, so why didn't you have a mastectomy? I'm like, because I wasn't offered one, you know. And it's and it again, like, I still don't understand some of the choices and the reasons of why, but it is weird. Everybody goes through such a different experience.
The clouds parted on that day.
I know. I just, literally that. But I was like, oh gosh, I was like, I wanted a mastectomy. I was like, just take them off. Like, I just want them off.
Gone.
Yeah, but they're all different choices for different people, I guess.
Does that leave? And I'm sorry, this is a really probably negative thing to say, but does that leave like future doubts in it or worries?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, and also, like, obviously, for anyone who's gone through a mastectomy, like I haven't, but it must be very tough because you literally have your boobs taken off. And a lumpectomy is obviously better because you still have your boobs. But I have a massive dent in my chest and stuff, and it just looks horrendous. But you come to terms with all of that. But I think with that in your head, you think, well, if I had them off, surely that massively reduces my risk. And because I was HER2, that they say that there's a higher chance of that reoccurring. And so there's always that doubt in your mind, I think. But I think it's always there with anything, cancer, isn't it? Moving on from it.
I'd have thought so, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just natural, isn't it?
That's the one thing I've found 100%, like, just the scariness of reoccurrence is...
I just...
Do you not?
Nah, I
want to be like you.
I shared a clip of Verity. I called it Verity the Furious. Did you see it?
Was that...
Well, Verity the Vicious, I think it was called. I called it. The one we were talking to Tom about the nights.
Yeah, no, I did see it, yeah.
We were talking about night. There's this TV show with knights, like UFC, but with armour, people in armour. And I was like, oh, can you imagine Brock Lesnar coming at you with a sword? I'd cry. And Verity was like, I'd have him.
I've seen the worst. Bring it.
Come at me with a sword. I was so, because that is you. That is you.
I suppose I kind of have got to the point where I'm like, I've been through so much crap that you're just like, I could take on whatever. Like now, you kind of just feel
Gives
feel
you
like
a little bit of a power, doesn't it?
It does, and also like. I mean, when I first finished treatment, I was very much like terrified, every ache, every pain, really, really scared. And now I'm kind of to the point where I'm kind of like, I've done it once. If I had to do it again, I could do it again, and like you kind of, and that's a really weird thing for someone who's not been through it to understand. But I'm just kind of like, yeah, like I did it. It was hard and it wasn't easy.
Don't want to do it again.
No, but if I had to,
however,
I could do it again. Yeah. And that's why I think like going through all of the treatment, like you really do see the absolute worst of yourself, but you get through it somehow.
Yeah.
But yeah, the COVID thing was tough. Like the
can I ask, you've got lovely hair.
Yeah, I lost it all.
I was going to say.
Yeah. I tried the cold cap.
Yeah.
And I persisted with the cold cap, which was horrific because I had like 3 strands left. But I was like, I'm going to do it because they were like, the regrowth is amazing if you keep doing it. But it got literally, it was silly. Like I was literally like hanging on to these strands.
I'm so temperature sensitive that I was just like, I don't even want it. It would have been excruciating for me.
It was just like, and again, saying with not having people with you, I don't think I could have spoke to anyone at my chemo if I'd have, having the cold cap on, because it just made me feel sick. Like it was so cold and I had like no hair. But it's, literally this is, 2.5
You've got a beautiful
years
head of hair.
Growth. I know, it's so thick.
It's a word nobody's ever said to me.
Don't get jealous.
Alex's hair's lovely. That being said, it took me an hour to get ready today. So I mean,
got a real nice beard.
I know,
Exactly.
and I've shaped it today. I've done a different idea of
great.
Yeah, exact silver linings, got to. But I mean,
Because I'm looking at your hair now and thinking, I should have just cold capped.
but I don't know if it really made that much difference because the regrowth wasn't quick, which is what I thought it would be. I think I always had thick hair before. And I just think maybe it's just the same. I don't know.
I was speaking to a friend in the week, and I was talking about this interview actually, and Verity, and sort of how inspired I am by some of the conversations we were having here at the Biscuit. And my colleague, I won't mention her name, was like, she used to get really annoyed with people looking at her and going, oh, that kind of look, that kind of look.
Odd.
And
You're sick. Literally, I hate that. That was my one thing, was I didn't want to look ill, and I knew if I didn't have hair, people look at you straight away, and they know, don't they?
Do you know what I found was the look was when you lose your eyebrows and your eyelashes. That's when you really.
As much as you try and draw them on, it's never going to look the same.
Did you ever have people come up to you and say anything, or COVID,
Yeah, but it's the look.
Back off!
No.
Immunocompromised.
In Aldi, like, do not come any closer. Yeah.
I do remember the first time I went driving in my car, because obviously my husband at the time, when he was off work, he drove, or if I needed to go anywhere, I was ferried about. First time I drove by myself and needed to get petrol in my car, I'd forgotten whether I was petrol or diesel, and I'm just there.
Which side is the cap on?
Literally, I was like, I don't know what I'm doing with my car anymore. I had to ask the car behind me, going, do you know what my car is? And they were like, it's a turbo diesel. It says it's a diesel. I was like,
Definitely
right,
diesel, yeah.
But that was one time when I was like, I didn't say it out loud, but I was like, look at my hair, look at my face. I'm a patient. Don't
you
don't
do
judge
feel
me.
like that though as well. Like sometimes, if like it sounds really awful, but if someone's being really mean to me, like when I was going through it, I almost just wanted to shout back, like, I'm going through some really bad stuff right now. You know what I mean? Like, I never did, but you kind of, like, don't be mean to me. I kind of like, I've got this T-shirt at home, which, like, my husband's like, you're not allowed to use the excuse anymore, but it literally has a card on it and it said, cancer sucks, expiry never. And I was like, I can use it forever. I was like,
Well, absolutely
yeah,
can.
it's allowed to be used when you've been through it.
Absolutely. And what Alex said, I don't know how you felt, but when people sort of do the pity that I could have, honestly, I still had the energy to go, no, I don't invite that energy into my world. I don't want your pity.
It's that you're an inspiration. I get it. I get why people are trying to say it, because I've probably said it before. But then some people, but you're like, I didn't ask for this to happen. And you're like,
I'd rather people say that to me than,
yeah.
I'd rather them go, look at you, you're acing it. And
Yeah.
I'd go, yeah, cheers. I am.
Yeah.
There are weird ways of showing inclusion. And I was having a conversation with my oldest Leon the other day, and we were talking about there's this video of they're throwing like cakes in this crowd at this gig, and one hits this kid in a wheelchair in the face, and I was like, well, that's true inclusion.
Yeah.
And he was like, what? I was like, the kid's got hit by a cake like everyone else in the crowd. Like, that is true inclusion. And he said, but he's in a wheelchair. I said, I don't care. He went to a gig, he got hit by a cake like everyone else. That's inclusion.
That's true.
Equality.
Yeah,
so,
that is true.
So I'm not saying, by the way, if you see a cancer sufferer in a supermarket, don't hit him with a cake.
Throw cake.
So, like there are Instagram people who share their stories and all the rest of it. And every now and again, you come across something that says things not to say when your friend's going through this, or things to definitely say. I don't always agree with them, because I think I would have appreciated someone saying that to me, and I would not have appreciated I think everyone's so different. You've just got to try and be responsive to the person
and I think
going through.
You've got to navigate your own way, and also everybody's so different in how they talk and communicate that if someone's your friend and they say something, that's just the way they are. They're not trying to be horrible to you. You know, it's all weird. It's just the way they are. You've got to read.
What about family? Do you see differences in family? Because
a little bit. Like my mum and dad were really, again, we've had no experience of cancer in our family, so it was just, and because I think of COVID, they never actually saw me going through it. They I did find it hard, and they never saw the worst bits. They only saw me when I was okay, so they think I sailed through it. Like I was oh gosh, you handled it so well, and I'm like, I don't think about those days in the bathroom, like
in the
Gollum, like no eyebrows, no eyelashes, like Dave, do you still love me? Like crying to myself, like it was just like it was hard, and I think. Yeah, my mum and dad, like they just probably didn't quite know how to handle it because it was just so new and nothing they'd ever experienced before, like anyone going through chemo or, so yeah, I found it easier to maybe talk to people that were going through it as well, or people I didn't even know about it, than close people, definitely.
Yeah.
It's so, because I was totally the opposite. I didn't find it helpful speaking to people who were going through it.
Yeah.
People who had experienced it, I would chat to, but not regularly.
Yeah,
because I just thought, well, I'm really proud of you and what you went through and how you handled it, but this is totally different because this is me. And like you said, the amount of people you speak to, and every story is slightly different. Every treatment
and the comparison, you don't want to compare.
Comparison is the root of all evil. So I didn't want to play that game. So I thought, that is great for you, but I'm just going to concentrate on what I'm going through and what my friends and my family are experiencing.
Definitely, because I really threw myself into Instagram, and like I was one of those people who shared pretty much most of the stuff I was going through, especially the fertility stuff, because I actually came across a lot of friends that were probably going through it and I didn't know they were. But I found that was quite a double-edged sword, because then you had people messaging you going, oh, well, you haven't had this scan, or you haven't had this, I had this and stuff. And then you're like, oh my gosh, why did I had that?
I was reading a story about, it was on Facebook, it was about somebody who'd had fertility treatment and they were happy about it and stuff. And the comments were people going, oh, you had it that many times. I only had it this many times. And, how lucky are they? You're sharing their joy on it. Well, there's people on here that can't have that. And I'm like,
no.
Whoa. Like somebody's sharing their nice story and just
that is the bad part. Because I've had it as well. You get the messages, don't you? Like, oh, if you'd have eaten a plant-based diet and not, done this, and you wouldn't have got cancer. And you're like, right, cool. And like, again, everyone's different, like that might be what some people think is right, but it's not necessarily what I think. So that was quite hard, and it was that whole trying to switch off to those sorts of messages and stuff, and sometimes it get quite overwhelming. You were like, people constantly messaging you and you wanted to be there for them, but like you said, I had to focus on myself as well.
Sure.
I'd be terrible in a situation like this, because I know I'd have friends that would be messaging me going, Al, are you okay? And I wouldn't get back to him for like 5 days, but Al, are you okay? Like they get really worried or really annoyed. I'm terrible anyway. Do you know what I mean? So when they really want to know if I'm okay.
It was really weird, like going back to seeing, because I'd shared a lot on Instagram, and then going back to seeing people in real life and being like, God, I know that they've seen that, and it's like, oh, and
they've seen me at my most vulnerable.
Yeah, and obviously, like some people are so awkward about talking about cancer and stuff, and like my other half's like friends, I would just address it dead on, like, because I obviously growing my hair, I was like going through a period of when I had it super short, I'd be wearing a wig or something, and I was literally like, could be at a wedding, and I'd generally have my fan out, because menopause, and I just literally walk in a marquee like, give me the fan, and I just literally hot flushes, because of breast cancer and stuff, and I just want to tackle it head on, because I don't want anyone to feel awkward.
That's like what I do with my fake boobs.
Yeah,
just get them out, pass them around.
No, absolutely. Yeah, total transparency.
Yeah,
that's what I'm all about. Because otherwise, I think I don't want people to feel weird and like, oh God, can I not say that? It's like, just go for it.
That's why I love doing what we do at the Biscuit, though, because like I would never go like. away from the microphone. I won't walk up to someone and go, "How was your cancer?" Like I would never have that. I wouldn't say it like that. I know what kind of idiot with that, but you know what I mean. Like,
Yeah.
that was cancer for you. No,
It's weird because it's like it
that was
sounds
ironic, by the way. I wasn't being really cruel.
No. But like I don't know whether it's you kind of have this dark humor sometimes. I don't know, and like it sounds bad because I'm like smiling and like laughing about things. Obviously, it was really awful, but
it happened.
It happened.
It's very matter of fact.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
can't take away that it happened.
And I'm here. We're
and
here.
You're here.
Yeah, and it's weird. I'm just very matter of fact about it. I think. Yeah.
I somebody new started working with me the other day, and my boobs were mentioned in the office, and I was wearing some fake boobs at the time because I've started wearing them now, occasionally. And
like it.
I turned around to her and I thought, oh, bless her, she's got no context. She doesn't know what's going on. So I just turned to her and I went, I haven't got any boobs.
What a conversation.
and then she went, oh, I was very flat-chested when I was at school as well. And it was only like a couple of days later she came in and she went, I had no idea, I'm so sorry. And I was like, it's all right.
It's fine.
It is what it is.
Exactly.
That's hilarious.
It didn't bother me
I
at
love
all.
that.
But obviously she was like, without context, I was like, oh, I did try and give you the context. She was like, you were just so matter of fact about it. I didn't realise that's what you were actually saying. I was like, yeah, doesn't matter.
Yeah, you don't want people to feel awkward, do you?
Yeah.
Because then it makes you feel awkward. I'd rather
Yeah.
just like get on with it.
There's
You know?
something really
definitely.
empowering about embracing something, like with the bald thing for a guy, right?
Yeah.
For example, I'm not comparing going bald to cancer, by the way. That's just
Sure.
it's the only way I can relate to what's going on. But like, for a while, I was kind of like, you know, really conscious about it and stuff.
Yeah.
That's why I wear a lot of hats normally. But now I do. I'm like, I'm bold. I am who I am. This is
Yeah.
who I am. You know,
Absolutely.
It is
you've
what
got to
it
be who you've got to be, haven't you? And
One thing I hated was people were like, it's only hair, it grows back. And like, but like my hair really did bother me because it totally changes
is,
how you look,
yes.
doesn't it? And it is your eyebrows, your eyelashes. And so whenever people would say that, I'm like, you have no idea.
It is a hard one. So I don't know if you were the same, but when my hair started growing back, I can remember being so joyful. I must have had like a centimetre, and I can remember posting on Instagram going like, I'll be planning it next week, look at this. And I've looked back at it since and I'm like, oh, bless you, Beth.
Yeah,
You were
like-
so happy with your centimetre of hair.
I embraced the wig life. I loved it. I had a pink one. I literally had one which I thought was really cool when I bought it. It was like ice blonde and it was straight. And then I thought, actually, I looked like Dumbledore. It was really
I never
bad.
did the wig thing.
I had one that literally looked like my hair before I lost it. And again, it was COVID, so I had to get it made by someone online and just literally just sent her a picture. And she did an amazing job. But because, again, it was that whole, I didn't want people to, like, in hospital who didn't know me, be like, oh, look, yeah, she's in because of that. You know, so I was like, I just wear that. But then once it started growing back, I just embraced it.
I'd go crazy with something like that. I'd wear the
Loved
was it
it.
Toontown, the pink one, or what was it called? Well, some bubble gum style hair. Like,
You know what? My hair's only just started looking like passable because my hair was curly anyway and it was
Yeah.
growing back curly. I just had a Nandu until
Yeah,
about
same.
3 months ago.
I look
It
like Mrs.
started to drop
Doubtfire.
a little bit now.
I had because we got married in 2021, and one thing I was like is I just wanted my hair for the photos, so I
Yeah.
had this weird thing called like a mesh integration system. Sounds really scientific, but it's basically a wig that's fixed to your head.
like a weave.
Kind of, yeah, but it was literally a piece of mesh on my head, and then they weaved in the extensions.
Yeah.
And then when they took that off, and literally, and it was like, he had like obviously grown underneath and stuff, and they like styled it, and I just looked in the mirror, I was like, I look like Mrs. Doubtfire. It's like, I literally looked like an old
Something that
lady.
stays on your head for ages.
Yeah, it was like I had it for
wow.
6 months. You'd take it off every 6 weeks or something, and they'd like properly wash your head, because you could obviously wash it, but it wasn't. Yeah, it was a bit grim, but yeah, it was. So for my wedding photos, it looked like I had actual hair. But yeah, I think I was a bit like you. As soon as it started growing back, I was just like, yes. And then actually, you go, wow.
This is
What
gonna,
do I look like? How long am I going to look like
Exactly. It takes so long though, and it's part of you, isn't it? Like that's one thing I still miss. My hair. It's not back to what it was.
do you
yet.
think? And I'll throw this to both of you. Do you feel like your journey through cancer and treatment and stuff has changed who you are as a person?
I think it's made me more confident in who I am. A lot of things over the last couple of years that has happened since COVID and cancer, and I've for a while, it was just one thing after another with me. And I just feel like I'm quite secure in who I am, and everything that happened leading up to today has made me just confident in that I am who I am. I think I'm quite a decent person, and I don't think I had that faith in myself beforehand.
I love that.
Nothing's derailing this train.
No, I love
way.
that. That's so good. I feel like I've definitely felt that I've had to accept help to get to where I am now, but I definitely feel like now I'm a bit like you, like I'm definitely more confident. I think it's changed me though in terms of like definitely I can handle more stuff and that I am badass and I can get this stuff done, you know, whatever throw at me, but also like I'm a lot less like friends, and like my circle is a lot smaller. Like I don't like to like socialize as much with people. I don't know, I'm just very much more like that's my core people who were there, and
that's a nice progression in life. I've been through that, and I didn't go. That was kind of like, oh, maybe I don't need like 30 people.
Yeah, but like all the people that it was great, because I think it definitely taught me like who, you know, they always say, you know, find out who your true friends are, and very cliche, but people that came to the party almost that I never expected to be there for me, and people that I thought would be that weren't, and so it was great for the wedding, saved loads of numbers.
But do you think with some of the people that weren't there at the time, do you think that that's personal to them rather than an insult to you?
Yeah, I think some people just
not
don't
that
know
that
how to
makes
handle
it
it.
easier.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Just don't know how to.
This is what we should do then. We should create a podcast as how to talk about cancer.
I think one thing is just don't
Like,
cross the
how do you-
street. Don't cross the street. Just don't feel awkward. Just tackle it.
Just do it.
Somebody
say
crossed the street.
something. Yeah, like literally just awkward.
Was that an
just doesn't wanna talk. It could have been. I don't want to affect her. But yeah, I think just I'm definitely just whatever. Like I'd rather not people not be awkward about it. That is something I hate, because then I feel awkward. I'm like, oh, this is really awful. Like let's just talk about it. It's a massive elephant in the room, you know. Like, but yeah, I think I don't know. I think I've definitely changed like my relationship and like my relationship with my partner and stuff. Like, you know, I think his auntie said she'd been through breast cancer 20 years ago, and that was the great thing, because she's fine and she's still here, and that made me feel I'm going to be okay. Good. And she said it will either break you or it'll make you, and literally like, and I was like, brutal, and it did, and I think it's massively changed our relationship, you know, in a good way. So that's positive. Lovely. Yeah.
By the way, I was laughing because all I can hear was Sue coming from my kids' room. I'm really, really sorry. I picked it up on the microphones. It's lovely that you've been through this journey and you've both come out as strong as you have, especially when it comes to campaigning and doing bits for charity and also raising awareness. I know you've been working. I was looking at your Facebook again earlier. Copperfield and the Bubettes, and you know.
Yeah, that's something I'm really sort of. I started working with Copperfield through my diagnosis, and sort of speaking to them more about advice for stuff, really, and especially with the financial stuff with work and stuff. And
is it an NHS thing, or is it
no? They're just their own charity UK wide, but they're based in London, and it was set up by a woman who's got stage 4 breast cancer, because she was actually diagnosed at 23 with stage 4. It was missed basically because she was considered too young. It was 19 when she originally found sort of the symptoms. So it was set up by her, and it's more of an awareness charity. So they have this team of people called the Bubettes. Everything is boob related, and it's all people under the age of 35 who's got a personal connection with breast cancer. So either a family member's gone through it or they've gone through it. So we basically go around talking to schools, universities, like anything, and just it's educating them on the signs and symptoms to look out for. So that, for me, I really enjoyed that, because I just feel like I'm doing something. Like I just feel like I'm not wasting this whole, like, not experience, that's a wrong word probably, but this life-changing thing I went through. Like I'm not wasting it. Like I'm going to go through it and be like, you know, hopefully other people will not, you know, if they do have it, because they can't stop it, they're going to find it early. And that's what, I don't know, it is that whole cliche turning a negative into a positive, but that's definitely my motivation behind doing the Bubette stuff.
I think that's amazing, because you're getting the word out there and you're sharing your experience and raising awareness.
I love it, and I love it being like young people, like because I was naive. I was like, breast cancer, that happens to old women. Like, it doesn't happen to young people. You know, I was so naive.
Past the
about
Lambrini.
Literally, honestly, I was so naive. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, there's so many young people that go through this, and men and everything. And
and that's the thing. I'm like, I think I've always known that it affects men as well.
Yeah.
But not on the scale of what I'm reading about now.
I know.
A lot of men are getting breast cancer.
Yeah.
What?
Exactly. It's and it's just like, so we talk about, I'll probably bring it up in a minute. It's like the tractor run that I did.
Yes,
for Lingen
we'll
Davies.
definitely get into that.
We'll touch on that. It's like, well, yeah, just like spreading the, you know, the message to men and women, I think, as well, is like, but I love just being able to do that. And I work for myself. So I'm like at home working all day long. And so just fitting a couple of talks in here, there, or going to, I went to Reseath the other week and did a stall there and like was just chit chatting at one of their like open day things to people. And just, I'm so like, I am so open about it. Like boys are walking past like, oh my gosh, that's woman talking about boobs. And I'm like, yeah, come over, let's talk about boobs. Men get it too, you know, I'm just like, trying to like, spread the message to everyone. And it's just nice when people engage with you and ask questions and stuff like that. And
usually I'm the first one in the queue when people talk about boobs. Well, okay, we're talking about boobs then. Okay,
I'm here. Yeah.
I'm here for this. I am present. But like, when it comes to guys, we're kind of like a bit like guarded and like, oh, I don't want to talk about that stuff. It's
exactly, especially
vulnerable
like
and
farming, because like I'm from a farming background. So my biggest thing was I want to get more like young farmers and stuff like that to actually talk about it, because I know, that was me. I was like, it'll be nothing. Like my mum was the same. Don't be worried about it. It'll be fine. There's nothing wrong with you. Because that's just how I've always, never really went to the doctor, like that sort of thing. That's just how I've been brought.
Have a lemon and honey.
Yeah,
and
rub some
C.
dirt in it. It was kind of just a bit like that. And so I was like, I really want to like go to more farming sort of communities and try and get them to, think about it more. Because again, since I've been diagnosed, there's another young girl in sort of our young farmers community who's been diagnosed with cervical cancer and stuff. And so, it's just making sure people are aware, not just breast cancer, but any cancer, watching out for the things that they should be. So yeah, that's massive motivation for me.
Yeah. And, check in and making sure. I've seen there's lots of videos and how to do that. And it's good that's there. I mean, like, when Jade Goody was doing her thing, I know Facebook was about and stuff, but there was no like TikTok or Reels or anything.
Yeah.
There wasn't something that was like as impactful as the short videos that we've got today. So it's good that we got people like Copperfield and the,
Yeah, definitely. And they're just like, the way that they communicate, it's quite a heavy message, but it's communicated in a really manageable way. Like it definitely resonates with young people, their way their branding is and everything. It's all fun and, it's not like the videos. I did actually do one to a WI club, which is not really, a bit maybe out of the demographic of what Copperfield is. And the video comes on and it's like, you're like Baps Bazoomers, like all this sort of stuff. And they were all like, I was like, maybe this is the wrong audience.
I bet there's a couple in there like, yeah.
It's like the men next door in the like village hall, like, what's going on in there? But yeah, it's very much like, it is out there, but I think it's attention grabbing, but in the right way. So hopefully.
Yeah.
But yeah.
What do you think it is? You did touch about it, just to know that you're doing something good after you've been for your journey and your treatment. And Verity, I know you did some great stuff with Overcome too. We raising money for them.
Yeah.
What do you think it is about going through that journey that makes you want to fundraise?
It's a hard one. Probably lots of things. And
it's very common. It's very, it's good. It's great.
I don't think it's selfish to say that it makes you feel good as a person. Like it makes me feel good to like do good, which it's not selfish, but it's kind of like, it makes me feel like a good person,
Yeah.
But again, it's that whole, like, I wish I had more people that kind of could relate to me when I was going through it. I don't know. And like, I'm talking to the Lingen Davies guys at the moment about doing some volunteering in the Haymar Centre and chatting to people there and stuff, because I think that like just to have someone who like, we will talk on a different level because we understand, don't we? And and that's what I want to be able to do.
I'll never forget the interview we did with Loren Stokes, because like that was fantastic, because the way you guys would, I think I was chatting to you in House Coffee about that interview. I was like, you guys were talking in your own language about your own things, and I mentioned that the guys walking up and down farting in the cancer ward, or the things that you wouldn't think about, and like I feel like you're right.
Insider knowledge. You're very privileged to.
Are there any podcasts about this sort of stuff? Because I feel like
probably
there's so much more. So much more you don't know.
Well, maybe there's a market there for some very sort of as it comes discussions about this kind of thing. Because
in talking about like raising money and raising awareness and giving back, I think I had no idea that Lingen Davies was like a charitable organisation. I had no idea. I just thought it was part of the hospital. So I think when you go through something like that, especially locally, and like the Lingen Davies support you and everything, I think that blew my mind a little bit. And I think it made giving. I just think giving something back is what makes you feel good.
Yeah, and like you said, you've been through this awful thing, and like, what can I do to? You guys
have basically saved my life. Yeah, so I'm going to tell people about it. I want to do something. I'm going to raise awareness for these charities that have helped support and guide and save lives, because it's all of a sudden it's much more so prominent in my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's like you were saying about, I grew up in North Wales, so I'm not from Shropshire originally. And so I wasn't the same as you. I didn't really know the extent what they did.
I'm local, so I should have known, but I didn't.
But like, same as you. I was like, I just don't, I didn't understand, I don't think, the extent of what they actually bring to the table when it comes to cancer services in our area. And again, I had my cousin, she was diagnosed at the same time as me, and she unfortunately passed away, but she lived in Derby and she didn't have great treatment, that's by the by, but at the same time, that made me realise more how lucky we are to have such amazing services locally, and literally so local.
I think that's what makes a survivor story so special, is the odds.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and the whole, it shouldn't be a postcode lottery, but sometimes it can be. And, I think it's comparing our, situations when we were going through it, they were very, very different. And it just made me realise, oh my gosh, like, we're so lucky to have this like the radiotherapy machines, all this sort of stuff. Like, we have so much access to such amazing treatment. And obviously Lingen Davies has a massive part to play in that. So like you said, it's like, I'm so passionate going, well, we need to keep going. We need to keep treating, because more and more people are getting diagnosed. We need to keep going. We can't slow down.
It's only got to get bigger and better.
Exactly. Keep foot on the gas, because it's not. It's not slowing up, is it?
I remember chatting when we were doing pod aid stuff like chatting to Sally, who was the manager at Lingen Davies. She's fantastic, and she was talking about there's more people now, so there's more of a ratio. The ratios are bigger as the population grows, and then now we've got this backlog from COVID where people weren't able to go to the GPs or weren't checking, or for whatever reason haven't got that diagnosis. There's going to be and I think they're starting to see that now. There's going to be a huge surge in numbers.
Definitely.
So it's good that...
I used to, like, when I was having chemo, I'd be, like, sitting there waiting, and the bus arrives with all the people from Newtown, and you think, oh, my God, they come all the way here from Newtown. And you think, it spans such
all over Wales.
I
it's
remember
insane.
when I was having radiotherapy, because you go sort of same time most days, don't you?
Yeah.
There was a guy who was coming from Hereford every single day, and I was like, wow.
That's crazy. Yeah, like, the reach is incredible.
Yeah.
Like, to be able to treat such a broad, like, geographical range is insane, and it's
pretty spectacular.
It's amazing.
I think I'm going to call this episode, I don't normally give these episodes titles, but like how to talk about cancer. I feel like we should definitely encourage people to have these conversations.
I think the key is, we've touched on a few times, just talk about it.
Just talk.
Just talk.
Yeah.
I think we've probably become normalised to it, because I talk about it so openly now, and that's probably natural because it's literally been such a huge part of your life. But I'm just like, just whatever. Like, it's not awkward. It's not weird. Ask me whatever you want to ask me. Let's talk.
It's my life.
Yeah.
It's what I've gone through.
I'd rather tell you.
Especially because you've shared, because I shared mine mostly on Facebook.
Yeah.
But, I didn't share my fertility bit as much.
Yeah.
I've just got a very horrible fertility history, which just causes me pain.
Yeah, fair enough.
But the cancer, I did share it a little bit, but the cancer I shared, every chemo update.
Yeah.
How was the feed? And the feedback I got was pretty nice.
Yeah, I agree. Like I said, obviously I had a couple of things, but most of the time I would have people going, wow, I'm now checking myself all the time, or I've been referred to the breast clinic, and talking about, and you're just like, oh, this is great. Like I've actually got people maybe making a difference.
Definitely. And I loved it. I loved it when people would message me like, oh, Bez, I'm really sorry to bring this to you, but I didn't know who else to ask, but I found a lump. And I'm like,
oh my
bring
gosh,
it to me. That's what I want you to do. We'll do it together. Go to the doctor. I can't do anything, but go to the doctor.
You're literally like me. When people message me, I'm like, I'm here. Whatever you need, you just message me. If it's 3 a.m. and you're really freaking out, I said, just pop me a message. I said, you'll be fine. Yeah.
And you can offer that reassurance to people, because I don't know about you, but I went into it with total naivety, didn't know what was going to happen, didn't know how I was going to feel, thought chemo was going to make me feel better. It did not. I mean, it made me better, but I felt very bad on it.
Oh, yes.
So when people reach out to me, I can just go, okay, so you've had this scan, this is really normal. They'll probably do X, Y and Z, and probably X, Y and Z, or maybe X, Y and Z.
Yeah, because you never knew what to expect. So to be able to tell people this is what's going to happen makes them feel so much better.
Yeah, definitely. It's nice. It's like a privilege to be in the position.
Definitely, yeah.
If you're going to have to have gone through something, use the knowledge.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's how I feel about it.
It's great to know a good advocate and to be a good advocate as well.
Yeah.
So like one of my go-to people for my anxiety issues is Stephen Marshall. And he's a great guy. And I had a proper like anxiety, like terrible moment last week. In fact, up until yesterday, I was just in a hole. I apologise to you, But I spoke to Rianne, who is traveling. She's done a lot of traveling. She's doing some solo travel seminars, and I edited back her podcast. And I was talking over her. I was interrupting her. And what I'd done was I was so anxious about everything, I'd overcompensated with a bit of overconfidence. Yeah. So I was kind of like, ha ha, and I listened back to it. I was like, how obnoxious did I sound? So I messaged her and I was like, I'm really sorry. I had a bad day. That's not my usual self. And I wrote to Alex and we would chat. I'm Alex, Stephen.
It's like,
and
I
was like, the podcast is great. You're doing great because he's got a new podcast out. And I'm feeling terrible. I'm feeling it, to be honest. Struggling with my anxiety really bad. Imposter syndrome has effed me up for the last fortnight. Had a weird moment with Rianne, the girl who's doing the solo travel seminar. Edited back her podcast, and I overcompensated with confidence due to my anxiety, and came like an effing tool. And he put, mate, listen, that's good that you identified those things. I didn't realise that I'd actually solved my own problem by recognising the situation. And I've gone to Steve, and he's gone, well, you solved it. Well done.
You got it.
That's good though.
Do you know what I mean? Like, you don't realise that you've actually got the answers, do you?
Definitely.
And insightful. Not everyone has that insight.
No, an awareness of yourself.
And that's because he's been through that situation.
Yeah.
I mean,
but you as well.
Yeah,
you had awareness of what you were doing.
Well.
Yeah. So, Rianne, I'm sorry, but at the same time, I'm owning this, all right? Now, the reason I did have my phone out is because we asked people about charitable contributions and why people do what they do. And I asked people, what is the charity situation you put yourself in that you're proud of? And Anna Williams messaged and said, giving up my time to run my children's school's PTA, helping raise money for a new playground equipment. Whether it's time or money given to a charity, it is arguably of equal importance and makes a tremendous difference. And she works for Lingen Davies.
That's very true. Time and money, yeah, that is true.
Mark Fielden from Cords Crush Cancer, he said raising over £19,000 for Lingen Davies.
Ow! Yeah.
In memory of his mum.
He's a bit of a ledge. Yeah.
Yes, he is. We were at Cords Crush. It was fantastic. Now I need to switch to my personal profile to get to the other things, because I was like, I'm going to share it on my personal and the Shrewsbury Biscuit too. We got some really nice messages, so I've got to go there. Yeah, we've got a few here. My friend Megan Conliffe, she said, dating my ex.
Oh, I saw that. I was like,
legend.
Brilliant.
A legend. Adam Rees from the TWS podcast. He finds out today if he's been voted one of the best sports podcasts in the UK. Ooh, wow. He works with autistic children in Wolverhampton in a school. And he put raising £1,500 for Little Rascals Foundation by running the Iron Bridge Half Marathon. Also, the TWS Sports Podcast raised £1,800 for the Little Rascals Foundation and Lewis Moody Foundation for interviewing guests all day at school. That's fantastic.
That's nice, yeah.
Natalie Weller put Running Impact, a trading name of Elite Dance Studios, a non-profit CASC for 13 years, providing dance and performing arts classes and events for children and young people from a wide range of disadvantaged backgrounds, including trauma, abuse, looked after children, exploitation, disabilities, and mental health. Low cost, partially funded sessions, ensuring the arts are accessible to all. Well done, Natalie. I've been. We did a shout out for her a while ago. Definitely need to get in touch.
Yeah.
My friend Bruce in the US put some years back. I was heavily involved with children's hospitals and loved to dress like characters and Santa for them during the holidays. Back when inflation wasn't absolutely gutting me, and I had no kids and single, I also would get to know the kids and buy them random gifts to help get them through their stay. With a bit. With that, it's a bit of a segue leading from that to Feed My Starving Children to now Kids in Need Foundation, where we got enough donations to give 24 schools all supplies and backpacks for every single child in each school. The looks of appreciation and joy from the school staff and the kids was incredible. Well done, Bruce.
That's amazing.
Well done.
Everyone does such vast different stuff, don't they? You know, it's amazing. Like, there's so much good stuff going on.
Makes the world go round.
It's true. It's true.
Nice.
Yeah, well done, folks. Those comments were great. And also, as well, you know, I'm starting to talk about Pod Aid again, which is... I love doing Pod Aid. I do love it, but the planning of it, the organisation of it, it's kind of like it's all this imposter syndrome. You're not good enough, Alex. You're not going to do this, but it always turns out to be great. So I know I am. I am. That's just. And you know, we were talking about the big checks that you get and all this sort of things. I don't really do it for that. I do it so that I can show people that conversation and microphones and doing what we're doing is actually really important and can help people.
Yeah,
that's why I do.
It's powerful.
Yeah,
definitely. Yeah, it's super powerful.
You've got your own event coming up, haven't you? That you're planning.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I did last year. I did a tractor run, which
what is a tractor run, by the way?
Yeah, so this is the issue. I think it's quite normal, and then when I was interviewed for BBC Radio Shropshire, and that's when I realised that it's not a normal thing.
No.
Like, what is this? Basically, it's a bunch of people go around on a 25-mile route, 30-mile route on a weekend on their tractors, and then usually have like a little lunch stop. And yeah, it sounds really...
Are the tractors decorated?
So I did a prize for the best boob-inspired tractor last year. So we had a lot of pink balloons. Somebody put a whole washing line of bras on the back of theirs, which was quite incredible.
Yeah.
So yeah,
that is a risky theme.
Yes,
potentially.
It is especially for a farmer.
I was like, oh, we could get people topless. I was like, who knows?
That's probably something I would have done.
Crash some cars, it'd just be awful.
I'll get the lads to the tractor run.
Yeah, it was, but like you said, like we did. So last year we raised £5,500.
Congratulations,
which was amazing.
Wow.
But my biggest win was I did T-shirts for everybody who entered. So 76 tractors that entered, and all of them probably 80% men in a bright pink T-shirt with the thing 1 in 7 women are diagnosed with breast cancer in the UK and 400 men every year. And that was on the front. And I was like, that is my win.
Wow.
To get all these men in, do you know what I mean? Just wearing
do you know
that.
what? I didn't even know that statistic.
Yeah, because it used to be 1 in 8.
mental.
It's 1 in 7 now. So 1 in 7 women every year. Yeah, in the UK. And that was the thing. I was like,
what's the catalyst? What's causing it? Like, what causes breast? I know, like, there's probably deep scientific.
Well, I know I had genetic testing, and it was proved that I had the BRCA1 mutated gene.
Okay.
That's why I opted to just get them gone. Get them gone now.
That's fair enough.
I also had my ovaries and fallopians removed because
fair enough.
I had a higher chance of ovarian and breast cancer. So I was like, get it all gone and I'll be back down to the average Joe.
Yeah.
But
you're less than average. You're not less than average. You're more than average. I mean, you're like a superhero.
Exactly now.
You are.
Yeah, exactly.
Gosh.
I didn't realize
average Joe.
The BRCA, because I got genetic as well, but I didn't have any of the BRCA genes. But yeah, that's why
I was like, I'll just go flat.
Go for it.
Just go
Embrace
flat.
it.
I'm good with it, thanks.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think like it's just, like we keep saying, it's just raising the awareness. And I know Lingen Davies have been so on it about wanting to raise more awareness, and I've done a few things with them about that, and the signs and the symptoms and the checking, and not just breast cancer but all cancers, and that's why. So I am doing another tractor run this year.
Yes.
It was literally last night, confirmed the date. So it'll be the 20th of August this year. So it's pretty much the same sort of format, but I'm probably going to I'd like to get 100 tractors this year. So yeah, and more.
Do you have to like close roads off? You know, when you get big bike events and
yeah, no, you don't. If it gets like quite a bit more than 100, then you have to inform highways. But if it's not, then we just need marshals, and we marshal people.
Okay,
yeah, in high vis.
I was just laughing because I was thinking because I drive through Creswich on my way to work, and if I'm stuck behind a tractor, I'm stuck behind a tractor. But imagine being stuck behind 20.
Yeah, because we did it on a Saturday this last year, so we've moved it to a Sunday, which is it's the usual day tractor runs happen on a Sunday. So I know it's
of course who doesn't know that?
Who does not know this information? But yeah, so I'm hoping to get 100, but it'll be like a 25-30 mile route round sort of. So we set off just near Whitchurch, and then we go down into sort of Wixall. But the girl I was talking about before, who she's just had all her treatment for cervical cancer, so she's getting involved as well, which is going to be great. So we're going to hopefully do the lunch stop at her family's farm, and Lingen Davies are going to get involved and help with lunch and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, it's going to be hopefully really good. But I want to smash even more of a fundraising target this year. I'm motivated.
Sounds like you will.
I hope so.
You're on the tractor.
How can people get involved with it? I mean, like, because it's like it's a route, isn't it? Like, I mean, like,
yeah. So
you have to have a tractor.
I mean, it's preferred. It's a long way to walk, but
do you get people coming to spectate?
Yeah. So we have loads of people seeing people off at because where we set off from is a place that does like curing pumpkins and sunflowers and stuff. So they've got like toilets, proper setup, and we do breakfast for everyone who enters. So we had all the families there, like waving everyone off. And then actually, like as you go along the route, we released the route on Facebook, and we had people outside their houses, which is really cute.
So I was thinking, you got that guy going around the UK at the moment on his bike with the DJ decks, and he gets like the whole town following him.
Yeah.
And bikes. But why don't we see if we can set up like some decks in a tractor with lights, disco lights, and
oh my gosh, that would be amazing. Do they have
music coming out of the tractors?
I mean, yeah. I mean, some of them do. If they've got like a cab tractor, they would have it in the tractor. But most of them don't have a cab on their tractor, so they would appreciate it.
I want to create a disco in a tractor.
We could totally do that. We could have like a little trailer on the back, and you could have a proper get on the back.
Oh, I was going to say we could if we could get a trailer, we could create a studio in the back of a trailer.
That would be unreal.
But we wouldn't be able to hear. We'd be like, he's on the biscuit.
Oh yeah, that would be truly horrible.
It'd be like being back at Kids Fest for the
experience. Not great to listen to.
No, you'd be like, what's that noise in the background? But yeah, it's like it's kind of. It's a nice thing. It's like a nice thing to do, and like it was lovely having people coming out. We did have like buckets for fundraising, so we got people to stop if there was people outside the houses to donate. But everything was sort of online on Facebook. So I'm just in the process of redesigning all the flyers and posters and everything to go out this year.
How long does it take to get the route together? Because
that's my husband's job. He's very good at that, so he'll probably get it together, and like he'll probably by next week we'll have a route, definitely.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, but yeah, we're trying to pick some last year was really nice because we went off some farm tracks where you can't go on the road, so it was nice to see bits that you can't usually see if you go in the car. So people enjoyed that, but yeah, it was great. There was loads of different people involved. We had amazing sponsors. I got lots of people to sponsor like the breakfast, and then we had people sponsor the t-shirts. So in terms of agriculture, we had like Kubota, big machinery company, Kubota UK, they sponsored us and things like that. And so there was lots of amazing people. So I'm hoping this year we'll have the same.
If somebody's listening to this and wants to sponsor you, how would they do that?
They can get in touch with me, or they could get in touch with Lingen Davies and they'll direct them to me. But yeah, I'm hopefully going to get everything out this next week. So keep an eye out on socials. But yeah, it will be me and Lingen Davies sort of doing it together, so they can definitely find out through them.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Isn't it really exciting that when you saying you just come up with the you just confirmed sort of yesterday or today, like. Today I've just come to grips with the fact that we've got to start planning Pod Aid, right? And I put a little teaser out on Facebook today, and Jane Pickworth, a friend of ours, she was like, "Ooh!" She started messaging me. We could do this because she does puppets and voices. So she was like, "We can do a game show. We can get kids involved. We can get this. We can do that. We can build a set. We can do." I was like, "Yeah."
Love the enthusiasm.
Yeah, I love that. I was just kind of like, Pod Aid, and then Jane was like, "Yeah."
Like, oh my gosh, I need a nap already. And I haven't even started.
So if you want to get involved with Pod Aid as well, please get in touch with me and the Shrewsbury Biscuit. I don't know what we're going to do this year. I want to make, because it's 2023, it's the third one we're doing. So it kind of like,
Bigger and better. It needs to be like,
yeah. So I want it to be bigger this year.
definitely.
Yeah.
So
Get the pen and paper out and
planning
start
caps
thinking.
on.
Yeah.
Maybe we can have 20 tractors
Hey, I'm keen. We'll get some tractors there.
Well, I think you're fantastic, and what you've
Thank
been
you.
through, what you've done, what you're doing, and Verity as well. Because you guys are fighters, and you carrying on the fight afterwards, after the fact, with your fundraising and your campaigning, raising awareness. So for that, well done. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
And also as well, thank you to Anna Williams from Lingen Davies for putting this together. Because this is great.
Legend. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So where can, because you're not just a fundraising thing, you could go in business as well. Do you want to give that a plug? And
I mean, sure. It's very niche. I have my own business doing marketing for agricultural companies. So if you're an agricultural company out there, you give me a ring. It's very niche. It is. When I tell people,
there might be a farmer.
Never know.
I mean,
You never know.
So always someone to tell someone else, and
Yeah.
snowball effect. Yeah.
And do you have an Instagram or an email, or how do people?
Yeah.
contact you?
So anything to do with my sort of business is ME Marketing and Events. And then obviously I still share quite a lot of stuff, sort of the whole rebuilding of life after, in terms of throwing myself into fitness and all that sort of stuff. So my personal is Mary's Little Bubble on Instagram.
I love that.
Nice.
Nice little bubble.
That is cute.
Yeah.
Oh, I want a bubble.
I'm always in
not
my
a
little
COVID
bubble.
kind either. Who's inside your bubble?
Oh gosh, that's like PTSD.
I didn't have a bubble. I was still working. Talk about those queues outside Asda. That was so funny because I used to go in with my name tag because I was an essential worker, key worker.
Yeah, of course.
And they'd be like, "Are you a queuer?" I'd be like, "Yes." And I get for the front, and they'd be like, "Oi, what is it?"
Excuse me.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I need a can of Red Bull. Got a night shift to go
Most
to.
bizarre thing. I always say to people, I used to remember when it was like you can only do one piece of exercise, wasn't it? And I used to remember like people would be looking out the window going, "Beryl's definitely been out twice today." And you're like, that was a weird time we were living in. It was so strange.
I think there's a podcast there somewhere where we can just get loads of old posts from that time and read them out.
Oh, it would be mental.
It would. That would blow my mind. The
Yeah,
stuff we
I live
did.
in the countryside, but I'd walk
Yeah.
sometimes a little
Twice a day.
more than I was allowed. But the one day I saw someone in my village holding a map. I was like, well, you've come too far if you don't even know where you are.
Yeah.
Get out.
busted.
Get out, you.
At least blend in.
I
mean,
know,
come
right?
on. Yeah.
Just pretend you know where you are.
Exactly. Maps not blending at all.
Not at all.
Yeah. Well, it was a weird time. Well, listen, folks, thank you so much for tuning in.
you.
It's been great speaking to you again, and
been great.
It has
seeing you,
been.
Verity, and
Yeah.
you listeners, thank you so much for tuning in. And you know what? If you're listening to this show for the first time, make sure you follow us on social media. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on LinkedIn, we're on Instagram as well. Instagram's my favorite, I think, of all them. And we're on TikTok as well. But also as well, if you're listening to this on Spotify, or if you listen to us on iTunes, whatever you're doing, just give us a follow and you'll get a notification every time there's a new podcast that springs up. Because we've been doing like 3 podcasts a week because I don't know my limits. So.
Go for it.
Well, today's been great. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll catch you guys next time. Peace out. That's another one of those episodes where you can feel like you're just eavesdropping, because it's just conversation. I love how natural things are feeling at the Biscuit at the moment. So thank you, Mary. Thank you, Verity. The thank yous are going to continue though, because as I record this, I've just come back from 2 days covering Drawn, which I've been talking about a lot on the show. This was at the Flax Mill. And it was 2 days of speaking to artists at different stages in their careers, and with different abilities, with different mindsets. It was so wonderful. When I get to go to an event like this and I get to speak to so many rich minds, I do feel like a pig in mud. There you go. I can't talk. That's it. I'm out of conversation. It's been 2 days of conversation. Thank you to everybody that spoke to us. And also, I want to say a huge thank you to my son, Leon, who came along and was my co-host for the weekend. It was really wonderful. And also to Cherie Pearl and Paul and everybody else that helped plan a great weekend speaking to great minds. You're all wonderful, and I really do appreciate every single one of you. Quick reminder from the beginning of the episode, Web Orchard is a place to be if you need a great website building. They are working tirelessly to make us look cool and to rebrand us in a very cool way. So that's the Web Orchard. Make sure you give them a follow. All right, I'm going to get out of here, guys. I hope you enjoyed the episode. I appreciate every single one of you. Thank you. Peace out.